Hello everyone, it is a really nice day today, and I thought I'll probably just walk in the park and at the same time I'll answer some of your questions. Now, in this video, I actually want to focus only on script runner questions that were asked on my service desk. Yes, I do have a service desk. If you go to ravisaga.in/support, you can raise a ticket for me. So the first question is from Nathaniel, and the question is that I want to send an email to my stakeholders, and the stakeholder information is actually stored in Jira issues. And the way this is stored is basically in a field. It could be, let us say a group pick a field, or basically it could be just a field where some information is stored. So if you're talking about stakeholders, I guess a group pickup field makes sense. And this information is stored not directly on the issue, but the linked issue. So imagine that you have one issue linked to another issue, and the stakeholder information is actually coming from, or it is supposed to come from, that another linked issue. Now, in this particular case, if you want to send an email to your stakeholders where the information is actually coming from linked issue, it is, of course, it may seem complicated, but it is not. So what you need to do is you need to write a post function, and in the question, the requirement is that whenever you make a transition on your issue, the issue which is going to trigger this email, there will be a pop-up screen, and yes, that pop-up screen is called as a transition screen. And in that particular transition screen, you will probably enter the comment, and when you click on the button to make a transition, the comment will be sent to your stakeholders as the body. So what will happen is when you write your script, so basically you have to write the post function, so scripted post function. When you write a scripted post function, what you need to do, you need to look for the linked issues on that particular issue from where you're making the transition. And when you are looking at the linked issue, you can then of course go to that particular linked issue using, of course, one specific type of link, and then you can look for the stakeholder group pickup field, for example, and then of course you can send an email. So you have to write code. And if you look on my channel, or if you go to my web, or maybe if you go to my website ravisaga.in, and if you take a look at my script runner videos, I've actually covered all of these cases separately. So you will find a script for how to write a scripted post function, how to access the linked issue, how to work with multi-user, multi-group, or I should say group picker field. And I also have code that I've shared to send an email. So definitely possible, but it is a bit complicated. Now the second question is from Ashok, and the question is that I have two fields, field number one and field number two. The field number two is, let us say, budget or amount, and the requirement is that whenever the field number one, let us say the budget field, is updated, I mean, let us say you add 2 or 3 or 20 or 200, the requirement is that the other field, the field number 2, which is, let us say, called as total, should display should basically sum up all the previously entered values in field 1, and then it will basically display that, of course, sum on that particular field. So this is, of course, possible, and the way it will work is that you have to use the change history manager. So whenever you update anything in Jira, any field in Jira, not anything but any field in Jira, or update any issue in Jira, the update or the changes are actually stored in the change history manager. So whenever you update the field, you can actually then write a listener, for example. I think listener makes sense, where you can look at the change history manager, look at all the previously entered old values, and then simply sum it up and display it, or maybe just update the field number 2, which is the total field. So a simple mathematical calculation, but this can also be done, I believe, using a scripted field, But the problem with scripted field is that it will only work when you are trying to access the issue. So as long as you're okay with that, I think this will also work. But I think listener will make sense because you will then be able to run the listener or basically write or run that script on a specific event. So you have a bit more control over it. Now the next question is from Girish, and the question is about creating issues automatically based on some information stored on another issue in Jira. So let us say you have a field called quantity in one of your Jira issue, and the requirement is that based on that particular number, let us say you have that number filled in with 2 or 3 or 20, you want to create those 2 or 20 issues. At the same time, you also want to copy the information from, let us say, another custom field stored on that particular issue. So this can, of course, be done. I mean, it is a bit similar to what you would do when you are doing some onboarding process, where let us say you want to auto create some activities based on some information stored on the issue. It could be, let us say, for new users who want to join the organization and they have to go through a process, or maybe you have to do something for them. So to do this, all you need to do, you need to write, I believe, in this case, a post function. Post function will make sense because you will have the option to trigger it whenever you want. And when you write a post function, you can then, of course, based on that particular field, let us say quantity, or whatever number that you have, you can then, of course, write a loop where you can create the issues. And the way I work with my scripts, I keep it simple. I simply create methods and I call those methods. So if I have to call that method with different parameters, like the custom field that you want to copy, or maybe you want to copy any other field, maybe you want to also assign it to someone. So I basically write my own method, and based on the number, I can then simply uh, run a loop, maybe twice or thrice or 20 times, and then create the issues automatically. So not really a complicated script, but uh, scripted post function can do the job. You can also do it with listener, uh, but when you're talking about a scripted post function, it will uh, I guess listener will also work in this case. I mean, there is no difference because listeners, the good thing about listeners are that they are outside your workflow, so you have more control over looking at the log. The way post functions work is that you have the option to take a look at uh, or basically define the order. That is why people use post functions. But if you have the choice, or if you can, then I think listener will probably make more sense. So that is all the questions that I wanted to cover. I am now going to switch my focus back to ScriptRunner. For the past couple of months, I didn't really make a lot of videos on ScriptRunner. I mean, like dedicated tutorial videos, although I have been talking about it, but you can expect more videos. And in fact, there is a news, something upcoming that I will announce very soon. So if you want to automate things in Jira and you love ScriptRunner like me, then do watch out for my videos. And the weather has been really, really, really good for the past few days. I really enjoy my weekend morning walks in the park. The weather is great, and you can see these ducks by the lake walking. It's really, really soothing in the morning. And I hope you're also enjoying these kind of videos where I talk about things, but at the same time, you're also looking at this natural beauty, especially during summertime. Not only summer, but springtime. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.